Week number 5, we're getting very close to the midway mark, and I'm feeling like a little bit excited and a little bit freaked out all at the same time. I'm Matt Cumming, a graphic designer, author, songwriter, and massive fan of all things stylish and creative. When I discovered the remarkable results that everyday people like me were achieving through the Australian Institute of Creative Design's fashion mentoring program, I instantly knew that I had to give it a go to see if I could turn my own secret lifelong dream of creating a fashion label into a reality. But to really put it to the ultimate test, I decided to squeeze their normal program into an insanely short time frame. So I'll be fast-tracking 12 months worth of research, planning, branding, design, web development, production, marketing, customer service, growth management, and so much more to see if I can build a brand new fashion label from scratch in just 12 weeks. So join me for 84 crazy days to watch every single step of the agony and ecstasy unfold throughout my 12-week fashion launch. This week, I organised a new model after my other models had fallen through for the photo shoot. I finally ordered all of my fabrics except for the contrast fabrics, which I'll get to in a little bit. I also started planning my launch, which is probably going to turn into a little bit bigger deal than I anticipated, so that's going to be pretty interesting. And also, and most crucially, there were some extreme last-minute changes that were required for the pattern. We had to require basically the prototype shirt after I got it back and reviewed it and realised that there was, a little bit too much sleeve and a few other minor issues that needed to be edited. I was extremely happy that my pattern maker was able to jump right in as soon as I picked up the phone and gave her a call, and within 3 days she had all of the patterns sent back to me via express post. So I'm now ready to move forward with the production, finally. In my mentoring call this week, we talked about the issues that were with the prototype shirt and how we were going to fix those. Also talked about the, eventually probably outsourcing and how everything needed to be right at this stage, how good it was that I was able to be hands-on at this stage, that I could get in and make those changes quickly, face to face with the people that were involved. Because if we decided to take it, outsource it overseas after this 12 weeks, then we'll have ironed out all of those little issues that need to be ironed out before, it goes outside of my control. We also discussed the launch party and, fleshed out some ideas for that. Trying to find a venue, is not that simple, considering, I basically want to have a Thai burning festival. So that's the idea that we talked about. It's pretty exciting, a little bit crazy, definitely something that's talk-worthy, and I think, I might be able to get some press out of this idea. Finally, we walked through some of the time frame issues and just, nailing down some things relating to the photo shoot. In particular, both of my models had fallen through. Thankfully, I was able to call in a favour from a friend. One of the other trainers at the Australian Institute of Creative Design came through, and she knows somebody that it sounds like is going to be perfect as my model for the photo shoot. I guess the challenges this week have been pretty simple. Mostly I've been looking for venues that would allow a fire so that we could have this crazy Thai burning festival that I'm thinking of doing. But honestly, there really aren't any. So right now I'm thinking of a couple of different ideas, some of which include finding a venue that maybe has a fireplace so that we could do something on a smaller scale, or perhaps around where I live in the Currumbin Valley, there might be a property that I can have a small fire in, and we can do the Thai burning festival there. The other challenge was the sleeves, the design element of my first shirt. I just felt like they were just too big. They kind of looked like a grandpa shirt, and so I had to move pretty quick to make some pretty intense decisions and some research to see what is going to work for this slightly longer than normal sleeve. But thankfully, after a couple of intense days of just reviewing my reference designs and things that I've looked at in the past and some new ideas that I've looked at online, I was able to make a decision about reducing the size slightly, just enough that it still retains its unique quality, but also that it doesn't look too bulky on the arm. The opportunities this week, I guess, in a small scale, we're finding some venues that had fireplaces, things that might be able to do my vision of a Thai burning festival type launch party, on a smaller scale. Not exactly what I want, but at least I've got that as a good fallback. Probably my most exciting opportunity this week was one of the trainers at the Australian Institute of Creative Design, Maureen. She came back to me and she's found a model that could be perfect for my photo shoot, so that's awesome. Another opportunity that represented itself was, of course, my mother, who is extremely skilled in all of these areas, and I was able to walk through with her the challenges that I had with the design and the prototype shirt, and she was able to help me really consider some other options and work through maybe some of the technical ideas that I just couldn't quite get my head around because I'm not that technically minded when it comes to the sewing, the construction of a shirt like this. My buzz this week was actually a little strange. It was a big list that I got from Grace, my mentor at the Australian Institute of Creative Design, and it was basically all of the things that I need to get through before the end of this 12 weeks. Now, why that was buzzworthy, I guess, was that it brought a bit of relief and a bit of clarity about what I need to do next and in the time frames that I need to do each step. So it really gave me something to focus on and to move towards. What I learned this week is that you should always get advice from people that you trust in the industries that are relevant to the information that you need. Because what I found is that lots of people have lots of ideas for me, and lots of people who maybe don't really have experience in this industry had opinions about what I was doing with my shirt and with my launch and all sorts of other things. But at the end of the day, it's good to get advice from all sorts of people, but most importantly from the people that you trust to give you the answers that you really need, people with real experience in the industry that you're working in. I think how this week has shaped me is that more and more I'm getting bold in this role. I'm feeling like I'm just not afraid to ask anymore. And in fact, being bold enough to ask some of these things that I needed this week, I've had some great responses and a lot of help from people that I just wasn't expecting. So it's definitely worth asking if you have a need. It's incredible to think, I'm just bordering on the halfway mark. There's still a lot to do, but in a way, there's a lot of things that are in progress, and I'm really happy about that. So next week I'm going to be nailing down the ideas for the launch, because I have to get in ahead. I have to be able to promote that early. So there's a few things that I have to nail down before I can start promotions for that. Also, I'll be delivering the fabrics and also ordering the contrast fabrics, hopefully, for the shirts. And at that point, I'll be able to hand everything over to my shirt maker, and he will get started on the final production run. So I'm really excited. I feel like I'm on track, even though there's a lot still to do.